So today we'll be taking a look at some stories involving Paul Heyman, Bianca Belair, the Bellas backstage drama, and much more. Let's start things off with WWE's hottest storyline at the moment, Roman Reigns vs. Brock Lesnar. The Christmas Eve edition of SmackDown was pre-taped in advance, so the whole show was leaked a week before it actually aired. There weren't any appearances by Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, but there was a big interview between Paul Heyman and Kayla Braxton that was wonderful and progressed the story in a major way. We see Paul Heyman for the first time since his firing from the Bloodline. He doesn't look like himself at all. He hasn't shaved, so he has this messy beard going on. He looks tired. He looks completely out of it. Heyman opens up by saying that he told the truth to Roman, a truth Roman didn't want to hear publicly. He claimed that he was fired publicly because he told the truth. Heyman kept emphasizing the word publicly. Maybe if Heyman had warned him of Brock Lesnar behind closed doors, the reaction might have been different. But the fact he said that publicly left Roman no choice but to do what he did. Heyman said that he doesn't regret it because that was his role. He was the special counsel. His job was to tell the uncomfortable truths, not to protect Reigns as a personality, but as champion, so he has no regrets. Heyman said that he did go to Roman's locker room after SmackDown that week, but that all of his belongings were already thrown outside of the locker room and were all placed in the hallway. Heyman then said that his role was to protect the Universal title, and said once again that Roman is the greatest Universal Champion of all time, but he needs to be protected from Brock Lesnar. Kayla Braxton asked Paul Heyman about what's next for him. Heyman said that he could go to NXT and pick a top talent there, but that he's not going to do that, not at this stage of his career. Heyman said that he put every bit of his heart, soul, and spirit into being special counsel because he believes in Reigns, and that without being that, maybe it's time for him to acknowledge that his career is most likely over. And that's how the segment ends. WWE then continued to feed that narrative of Paul Heyman's retirement by posting a few videos and graphics highlighting the biggest moments in Paul Heyman's completed career. Obviously, this just screams misdirection and swerve. No one expects Paul Heyman to quietly walk into the sunset. That's the last thing people expect to see here with this story. Everyone expects Heyman to stay involved, and like we've been talking about over the last few weeks now, Paul Heyman is even more interesting as a character because we really don't know what he's going to do next. He's free to help Brock or even help Roman. Reports claim that Paul Heyman will still be involved with the story. We haven't seen the last of him by any means at all. One of the popular fan theories that's starting to pick up steam is that Paul Heyman will double-cross Brock Lesnar during a big moment, like Day 1 or WrestleMania, and link back up with Roman Reigns. And even the reports seem to be hinting towards that moment as well. One of the other theories out there is that everything we've seen over the last 2 weeks was fake and was just a trick by Roman and Heyman, so that they can throw Brock Lesnar off his game and catch him with a big double-cross moment. Maybe the match is near the end and both superstars are looking for a way to win the match, sort of like at Crown Jewel where Heyman threw the title in the middle for either men to use. Well, maybe it could be something like that where Heyman does come out and Brock is fully expecting Heyman to help him out since he's no longer working with Roman Reigns. But the big shocker would be that he still helps out Roman Reigns, retains as a way to build himself back into the bloodline. Maybe it works and Roman accepts him back in. Maybe it doesn't work and Roman tells Heyman that he didn't need help and that he was going to beat Brock Lesnar by himself. So we can see any of those scenarios take place here. There's still a lot that can happen with Paul Heyman. The one thing that isn't going to happen with Heyman is a retirement. He's definitely not walking away at the peak of this story like this. There's no way that can be real. So Heyman will still be involved in Roman and Brock's next few matchups for sure. Maybe he does align himself back with Brock Lesnar, or he pulls off the shocking move to go back to Roman Reigns. We'll have to see how the Paul Heyman story plays out. Bianca Belair and Doudrop storyline from Raw is getting some criticism from fans for a handful of reasons. The first reason being the infinite rematches. Rematches are just a part of WWE television. There's no escaping that. but fans feel like the rematches don't really make sense in this specific storyline. It's not like it's 50-50 booking where both women are exchanging wins over each other. Bianca Belair has dominated the feud and pinned Doudrop on several occasions. Yet, Doudrop keeps getting rematches with Bianca. So, that was something that fans pointed out, saying that Doudrop already has a few cracks at Bianca Belair and lost every single one. So that feud should be over now. The other issue was the lack of build-up for the big body slamming moment. Bianca Belair had this big moment on Raw where she lifted Doudrop up and slammed her. It was a great moment that everyone loved, a real highlight of the show. But some fans argued that it could have been an even bigger moment with proper build-up. Have Bianca Belair struggle to pick Doudrop up for several weeks. Make it look like she can't really do it. Get the audience invested in seeing Bianca try to lift Doudrop up. And then at some pay-per-view event, you could finally have the big payoff of Bianca lifting Doudrop up. The crowd would go even more wild because of the build-up and how they were all invested in knowing if Bianca Belair could ever pull it off or not. So that's another criticism for the story that's out there. Bianca's slam was great, but fans think that it would have been even better with some story behind it, rather than it just happening so suddenly. But if that story is done, we'll have to see what's next for Bianca Belair. A lot of people forget that the Bellas actually legitimately left WWE in 2012 and returned a whole year later. But why was that? Well, appearing on Wrestling With Freddie, the Bellas discussed their WWE fallout in 2012. They had this to say, quote, "So we were on TV for 5 years, and our 5-year deals were coming up. I remember at that point, Brie and I just did not like how women were treated in WWE. 2-minute matches, but were allowed 10 minutes on live events. While we were working hard on live events, we were never allowed a showcase on TV, and our stories didn't have depth, and we just weren't treated right. I remember when our contract was coming up and we kept wanting to talk about it. They were like, yeah, we need to get to that. We need to get to that. So finally, I and Brie got a point where we said, let's not remind them and let's see what happens. Sure enough, the reason why I dropped it to Layla in Chicago out of nowhere was that I was like, I'm not signing. And they were like, we'll give you these stories. And I was like, you couldn't even have a conversation with me. I remember we just have this conversation and I said, we're leaving. They still probably thought Brie and I were going to sign after the show or that week. They kept calling. Literally, when we left Raw in Chicago after the championship match, we left and that was it. End quote. So that was the story behind their 2012 departure. They dropped the titles as a punishment because they weren't re-signing, but they legitimately left after that night in Chicago. They returned a year later in 2013 and things were obviously different. Stories started to slowly get better and better for the women, and WWE even made the Bellas the faces of the Total Divas reality show. So they all got what they wanted in the end. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.